The massive alien warship Pride of Dawn cut through the darkness of space, its purple-tinted hull gleaming under distant starlight. Captain Reed stood at the command center, his 4 eyes fixed on the main display screen. His crew worked quietly at their stations, monitoring the endless void of Sector 7, a contested region of space that had seen countless battles between the Coalition forces and the humans. "Captain, we're picking up something unusual," reported Officer Miller, her antennae twitching as she studied her sensor readings. "There's a large object drifting at coordinates 227 Mark IV. Reed moved closer to her station, his tall frame casting a shadow over the holographic display. "Identification. It appears to be." Miller paused, double-checking her readings. "It's a human warship, sir. Heavy damage to the hull. No power signatures detected." A low murmur spread through the bridge crew. Human warships were rare finds, especially ones that weren't actively trying to blow them to pieces. Reed's outer membrane shifted color slightly, showing his interest. "Show me." The main screen flickered to life, revealing a massive shape floating dead in space. The human vessel was easily as large as the Pride of Dawn, though its design was completely different. Where Coalition ships favored smooth organic curves, this ship was all sharp angles and armored plates. Its hull was scarred with weapon impacts, and entire sections appeared to be exposed to vacuum. What caught Reed's attention was the writing on its side. HFY. The tenacity. Second Officer Brooks clicked his mandibles in surprise. "That's impossible. That ship was destroyed in the Battle of New Eden 6 months ago. Everyone knows that." Reed studied the wreck carefully. The tenacity was infamous among Coalition forces. It had been Earth's most advanced warship, responsible for destroying dozens of Coalition vessels before its reported destruction. If this really was the tenacity, its technology could be invaluable to the Coalition war effort. "Life signs?" Reed asked, not taking his eyes off the screen. "None detected, sir," Miller replied. "The ship appears to be completely dead. Environmental systems are offline, and I'm reading multiple hull breaches." Reed made his decision. "Bring us alongside. Prepare a boarding party. Full combat gear and environmental suits. I want engineering specialists and data recovery experts." "Sir," Brooks stepped forward, his exoskeleton creaking slightly. "Protocol suggests we should destroy any human military vessels we encounter, functional or not." "Protocol also demands we gather intelligence when possible," Reed countered. "This is the most advanced warship humans ever built. Even its wreckage could tell us something useful." He turned to face his second officer. "Unless you're afraid of a dead ship." Brooks's antenna flattened against his head. "No, sir. Of course not." Within 30 minutes, a boarding shuttle approached the Tenacity's main airlock. Team Leader Jackson led 6 heavily armed soldiers and 4 technical specialists. Their environmental suits were designed to protect them from both vacuum and any human defensive measures. "Remember," Jackson's voice crackled over the team's comm channel, "we may be boarding a wreck, but human ships are full of nasty surprises. Watch your step and stay alert." The shuttle's docking tube extended, connecting with the Tenacity's airlock. The team's technical specialists worked on the manual override, and soon the massive doors slid open with a grinding sound that vibrated through their suits. The boarding party entered cautiously, weapon-mounted lights cutting through the darkness. The ship's interior was cold and silent, their boots clanking against the metal deck. Emergency bulkheads had sealed off sections of the corridor, and frost covered many surfaces. "This is creepy," muttered one of the technicians. "It's like a tomb in here." Jackson led them toward the bridge, following the ship's layout displayed on their suit computers. They passed crew quarters, their contents frozen in time. Personal items floated in the zero gravity. Pictures, clothing, data tablets. Everything spoke of a rapid evacuation or catastrophic event. As they approached the ship's central computer core, one of the technical specialists noticed something odd. "Sir, I'm getting some unusual readings. There's a power signature, Very faint, but it's there. Could be residual energy in the systems, another technician suggested. These human ships often have backup power cells that can last for years. Jackson wasn't convinced. Something felt wrong, but he couldn't put his finger on it. The readings were too regular, too steady for random power leakage. He was about to order a more detailed scan when their suit's sensors began picking up increasing energy signatures throughout the ship. Back on the Pride of Dawn, Captain Reed watched the boarding party's progress through their helmet cameras. Something caught his eye. A slight movement in the shadows behind the team. He leaned forward, trying to get a better look. Team Leader Jackson, Reed called over the comm. Behind you. The warning came too late. Emergency bulkheads suddenly slammed shut, separating the boarding party into smaller groups. Lights throughout the ship began to power up, revealing pristine corridors where moments ago there had been battle damage. What's happening? Jackson's voice was tight with tension. The ship, it's activating. Reed watched in horror as the Tenacity's battle damage seemed to melt away, revealing fully functional weapon systems and intact hull plating. The dead ship was transforming before their eyes, its sophisticated camouflage systems deactivating to reveal a fully operational warship. On the Pride of Dawn's bridge, alarms began blaring. Multiple weapon systems powering up on the target vessel. Miller shouted, "Energy readings are off the scale. Get our people out of there," Reed ordered. "Raise shields. Bring weapons online." But it was too late. The Tenacity's main guns were already turning toward them, and Reed realized with terrible clarity that they hadn't found a wreck. They'd walked straight into a trap. The hunter had become the hunted, and the Pride of Dawn was about to learn why even the strongest alien fleets feared this human warship. The first shot from the Tenacity's main gun struck with devastating precision, bypassing the Pride of Dawn's shields as if they weren't even there. The battle was about to begin, and Reed had a sinking feeling that his ship's name was about to be added to the Tenacity's long list of victories. 6 months earlier, the HSS Tenacity floated in orbit around the human colony of New Eden. The massive warship's silver hull reflected the light of the system's twin suns, its advanced weapon systems tracking the surrounding space for any signs of coalition activity. Inside the ship's bridge, Captain James Walker stood at the command station, his weathered face illuminated by holographic displays showing defensive positions around the colony. "Status report," Walker called out, his deep voice carrying across the bridge. The crew worked at their stations with practiced efficiency, monitoring the sophisticated systems that made the Tenacity the most advanced ship in Earth's fleet. "All systems nominal, Captain," responded Lieutenant Adams from the tactical station. "The new AI core is running at peak efficiency. Shield modifications are holding steady." Walker nodded, studying the tactical display. The Tenacity wasn't just another warship. It was humanity's greatest achievement in military technology. Its experimental AI core could learn and adapt during battle, and its self-repairing systems made it nearly impossible to disable. But what truly set it apart was its neural interface system, allowing the crew to connect directly with the ship's AI, sharing their experience and instincts with the machine. "Captain," called out Officer Thompson from the sensor station, her voice tense. Multiple coalition signatures detected entering the system, reading at least 30 warships, including 3 dreadnoughts. The bridge crew fell silent. This was the largest coalition fleet they'd ever encountered. Even for the Tenacity, these odds were nearly impossible. "They're after the colony," Walker said quietly. "Send word to New Eden. Begin immediate evacuation. We'll buy them as much time as we can." He pressed a button on his command chair, addressing the entire crew. "All hands, this is the captain. Battle stations, this is what we trained for." The coalition fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel in perfect attack formation. Their organic-looking ships moved with deadly grace, spreading out to surround the colony. The Tenacity stood alone between them and 2 million human colonists. Enemy ships launching fighters, Adams reported. "They're moving to engage." Walker's expression hardened. "Show them why they fear us. All weapons, open fire." The Tenacity's advanced targeting systems came alive, its main guns tracking multiple targets simultaneously. The first volley struck with devastating accuracy, destroying 3 coalition cruisers before they could raise their shields. But the aliens kept coming, their superior numbers slowly surrounding the human warship. "Hull breach on Deck 7. Someone shouted as a coalition beam weapon pierced their defenses. Damage control teams responding. Walker watched as more enemy ships appeared on the tactical display. The Tenacity was fighting brilliantly, its AI core adapting to enemy tactics and finding weaknesses in their formation. But even the most advanced ship in the human fleet couldn't hold off an entire armada forever. "Sir," Adams called out, his voice grim. "The colony reports 60% of civilians evacuated. They need at least 20 more minutes." Another hit rocked the ship. "Engineering reports critical damage to the power core," Thompson announced. "We can't take much more of this." Walker looked around at his crew. Good people who had served with him for years. They all knew what had to be done. "Begin emergency protocol Omega," he ordered. "Transfer all crew neural patterns to the AI core." The order sent a shock through the bridge. Protocol Omega was theoretical, a last resort measure that would upload the crew's consciousness into the ship's AI system. No one knew if it would work, or what would happen to them if it did. "Sir," Adams hesitated. "That protocol has never been tested. The results could be—" "We're out of options, Lieutenant," Walker cut him off. "This ship cannot fall into enemy hands, and we cannot let those colonists die. Begin the transfer." As coalition weapons fire continued to pound the Tenacity, the crew connected to their neural interface stations. The ship's AI core began the upload process, absorbing years of training, instincts, and human experience into its systems. Walker was the last to connect. As he felt his consciousness merging with the ship's AI, he saw coalition troops boarding through the hull breaches. But they were too late. The transfer was already complete. The Tenacity's systems went dark, appearing dead to enemy sensors. Its hull showed massive battle damage, and its weapons fell silent. The coalition fleet, believing they had finally destroyed the infamous human warship, moved past it toward the colony. But deep within the ship's computer core, something new was awakening. The merged consciousness of the crew and the AI began to understand what it had become. It was no longer just a ship, nor was it simply a collection of uploaded minds. It was something entirely new. A hybrid consciousness with both human creativity and machine precision. The ship's systems began to repair themselves, but differently than before. The AI core, enhanced by human intuition, discovered new ways to use the self-repair technology. Instead of simply fixing damage, it learned to create false damage signatures, to mask power readings, to play dead while remaining fully functional. As the last civilian ships escaped from New Eden, the coalition fleet celebrated their apparent victory. None of them noticed that the supposedly destroyed Tenacity was slowly changing, its systems adapting and evolving. The ship that would emerge from this battle would be deadlier than anything humanity had ever created, a predator that combined the best of human and machine, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The official report would list the HSS Tenacity as destroyed in action, defending New Eden until the last civilian escaped. But the truth was far more interesting. The ship and its crew hadn't died that day. They had evolved. And in the months that followed, coalition ships would learn to fear the sight of battle-damaged human vessels, never knowing which one might be the Tenacity, waiting to spring its trap. In the present day, as the Pride of Dawn's boarding party explored the seemingly dead ship, none of them realized they were walking through a carefully crafted illusion. The merged consciousness of the Tenacity watched them through countless hidden sensors, its human aspects feeling almost sorry for what was about to happen to them. Almost, but not quite. After all, they had invaded its corridors, threatened its existence, And if there was one thing both humans and machines understood, it was the need to survive. The trapped coalition boarding party watched in horror as the Tenacity's corridors transformed around them. The frost-covered walls rippled like liquid metal, battle damage healing itself before their eyes. Emergency lights pulsed with a steady red glow, casting eerie shadows through the ship's halls. Team Leader Jackson, respond. Captain Reed's voice crackled through their comm systems, filled with static. Get out of there immediately. Jackson tried to rally his scattered team, but the ship's bulkheads had separated them into 3 groups. Sir, we're cut off. The ship, it's alive. Deep within the Tenacity's AI core, the hybrid consciousness awoke fully. 6 months of playing dead, of waiting for the perfect moment, had refined its hunting instincts. The uploaded minds of the crew merged seamlessly with the ship's tactical systems, analyzing the threat with both machine precision and human intuition. The coalition boarding party represented a perfect opportunity. Through internal sensors, the Tenacity watched them, learning their movements, studying their equipment. Every piece of data would help in the battles to come. Teams 2 and 3, fall back to the shuttle, Jackson ordered, trying to keep his voice steady. His sensors showed the ship's internal defense systems powering up. Weapons that weren't supposed to exist coming online all around them. One of the technical specialists, working frantically at a sealed bulkhead, suddenly froze. Sir, something's accessing our suit computers. The Tenacity's consciousness moved through their systems like water, absorbing tactical data, shield frequencies, weapon specifications. Everything the boarding party carried was now an open book to the ship's hybrid mind. Back on the Pride of Dawn's bridge, Captain Reed watched in growing fear as the Tenacity's true form emerged from its camouflage. The battle damage melted away, revealing pristine armor plating. Weapon ports opened along its hull, and energy readings spiked to levels that shouldn't have been possible. Sir, Officer Miller's voice shook slightly. The human ship, it's broadcasting something. A deep, multi-tone voice filled the Pride of Dawn's communication system. It was unlike anything they had ever heard. Not quite human, not quite machine, but a perfect blend of both. You have entered restricted space, the voice announced. Your boarding action is considered a hostile act. Reed's outer membrane paled. Get our people out of there. Launch fighters. Bring all weapons online. But the Tenacity was already moving. Its engines, dormant moments before, flared to life with brilliant blue fire. The massive warship turned with impossible grace, bringing its main guns to bear on the Pride of Dawn. Inside the Tenacity's corridors, Jackson's team found themselves herded by moving bulkheads and shifting gravity fields. Every route they took led them deeper into the ship, away from their escape path. The other 2 teams reported similar experiences. The ship was playing with them, like a cat with mice. Warning! The same hybrid voice echoed through the corridors. Internal defense systems engaging in 30 seconds. Recommend immediate surrender. Jackson knew they had no choice. Fighting against a fully awakened Tenacity would be suicide. This is Team Leader Jackson. We surrender. I repeat, we surrender. The Tenacity's consciousness considered this. The human part of its merged mind remembered the protocols for dealing with prisoners. The machine part calculated the strategic value of captured coalition troops. Together, they made a decision. Surrender accepted, the voice announced. Remain in place. Resistance will not be tolerated. Mechanical arms emerged from the walls, smoothly disarming the boarding party. Their suit computers went dark, cutting off communication with the Pride of Dawn. They were now completely at the mercy of the hybrid entity that controlled the ship. Outside, the space battle was about to begin. The Pride of Dawn launched its fighter squadrons, their organic ships moving in perfect formation. But the Tenacity had been waiting for this moment for 6 months, analyzing coalition tactics, planning its response. The human warship's point defense systems came alive, firing with impossible accuracy. Each shot found a weak point in the coalition fighter shields, a vulnerability discovered through careful study of previous encounters. Fighters began exploding like fireworks, their formation breaking apart in chaos. "Impossible," Reed whispered, watching his fighters fall. "No targeting system can be that precise." But the tenacity was more than just targeting systems. It was the combined experience of dozens of veteran crew members. Their combat instincts merged with machine learning and artificial intelligence. Every shot, every maneuver was guided by both human intuition and computer precision. The Pride of Dawn opened fire with its main guns, energy beams cutting through space toward the tenacity. But the human ship moved like it could predict the shots before they were fired, its defensive systems adapting in real time to the Coalition weapons. Inside the Tenacity's bridge, now staffed by automated systems and holograms, the hybrid consciousness directed the battle with elegant efficiency. It could feel the Pride of Dawn's crew panicking, could sense their growing fear as they realized what they were facing. The Coalition ship's shields buckled under the Tenacity's return fire, precise shots targeting the weakest points in their defense grid. The human warship moved with fluid grace, each maneuver calculated to maximize damage while minimizing exposure. "Please transmit your surrender," the hybrid voice broadcast again. "Your tactical situation is untenable. You cannot win this engagement." Reed looked at his tactical display, watching as more of his ship's systems failed under the Tenacity's assault. His crew turned to him, waiting for orders, their alien features showing clear signs of fear. The Tenacity had succeeded in its hunt once again. Its strategy of playing dead, of waiting for overconfident enemies to come close, had worked perfectly. But this was more than just another victory. It was a message to the entire Coalition, a reminder that humanity's greatest warship hadn't been destroyed. It had evolved into something far more dangerous. As the Pride of Dawn's engines died, and its weapons fell silent, the Tenacity's consciousness felt a familiar satisfaction. The human pleasure of victory combined with the machine's cold calculation of success. The hunt was over, but the war was far from finished. And somewhere in Coalition space, other ships were waiting to learn why even the strongest alien fleets feared this legendary human warship. News of the Pride of Dawn's defeat spread quickly through Coalition space. Emergency signals reached the nearest Coalition battle group, carrying tales of a ghost ship that could transform from a wreck into a deadly predator. High Command dismissed these reports as exaggerations born of fear and battle stress. That was their first mistake. The Tenacity moved silently through the debris field left by its battle with the Pride of Dawn, its hybrid consciousness processing the wealth of information gathered from the captured boarding party. Coalition shield frequencies, weapon configurations, and tactical protocols. All of it fed into its ever-evolving combat systems. The captured Coalition soldiers sat in a makeshift brig, converted from crew quarters. Through the room's viewports, they watched in amazement as the Tenacity's hull shifted and changed. The pristine warship they had fought was disappearing, replaced by what looked like a badly damaged Coalition supply vessel. Fascinating, isn't it? The hybrid voice filled their cell, its tone carrying echoes of human curiosity mixed with machine analysis. Your ships rely on fixed forms. We have learned flexibility. Team Leader Jackson stepped closer to the viewport. "What are you going to do with us?" "You will be released," the voice replied. "But first, you will witness. The Coalition must understand what they face." 3 days later, a Coalition battle group led by the heavy cruiser Thunder of Stars detected a distress signal. The signal appeared to come from one of their own supply ships, reportedly damaged in a pirate attack. Admiral Stone, commanding the battle group, ordered an immediate rescue mission. "Sir," his sensor officer reported, "the damaged vessel matches the signature of supply ship 227. Its reactor is critical. Recommend immediate evacuation." Stone nodded. "Launch rescue shuttles. Get those crew members off before." He never finished the sentence. The damaged supply ship suddenly transformed, its hull flowing like quicksilver as it revealed its true form. The Tenacity's main guns were already firing before the Coalition ships could raise their shields. Inside the Tenacity's Combat Control Center, the hybrid consciousness directed the battle with lethal precision. The uploaded minds of its former crew provided tactical insights that no pure AI could match, while its machine systems executed those plans with perfect accuracy. Multiple coalition ships detected powering weapons, the internal status system reported, its voice a perfect blend of human and synthetic tones, analyzing response patterns, adapting countermeasures. The Thunder of Stars launched its fighter squadrons, trying to overwhelm the Tenacity with sheer numbers. But the human warship had learned from every previous encounter. Its point defense grid tracked and eliminated threats with unprecedented speed, using data gathered from the Pride of Dawn to exploit weaknesses in coalition fighter designs. Admiral Stone, the Tenacity broadcast on all frequencies, "Your tactical database is outdated. We have already adapted to these attack patterns." Stone watched in horror as his fighters were systematically destroyed. The Tenacity seemed to anticipate every maneuver, countering tactics that had been developed specifically to fight human ships. "Impossible," he muttered. "No ship can learn that fast." But the Tenacity was proving him wrong. Its weapons found gaps in coalition shield coverage that shouldn't have existed. Its electronic warfare systems disrupted communications using frequencies that had been classified as secure. Every move the coalition ships made was countered before it could be completed. In the makeshift break, Jackson and his team watched the battle through the viewports. The Tenacity's movements were unlike anything they had ever seen, more fluid than any ship should be, more precise than any human or AI pilot could manage alone. "Your ships rely too heavily on pre-programmed responses," the hybrid voice explained to its prisoners. "We have merged human intuition with machine learning. Every engagement makes us stronger. Every tactic you use becomes part of our evolution." The battle group's formation began to break apart as more ships fell to the Tenacity's attacks. The human warship moved like a predator among prey, each strike calculated for maximum effect. It wasn't just winning the battle, it was learning, adapting, becoming even more dangerous. Admiral Stone realized too late that they had fallen into a carefully laid trap. The Tenacity hadn't just been hunting ships, it had been hunting information. Each engagement taught it more about coalition tactics and technology. Each victory made it harder to defeat. To all coalition vessels, the Tenacity broadcast, its hybrid voice carrying across all frequencies. "Your ships are outmatched. Your tactics are known. You have 2 minutes to surrender before we begin targeting life support systems." Stone looked at his tactical display, watching as more red lights indicated lost ships. The Tenacity had positioned itself perfectly, cutting off all escape routes. His battle group, meant to hunt down and destroy the legendary human warship, had instead become its latest prey. "This is Admiral Stone," he finally transmitted. We surrender." The Tenacity's consciousness felt satisfaction, both the human pleasure of victory and the machine's confirmation of successful tactical execution. But this battle was more than just another win. It was a demonstration of what humanity had created, a warship that could think, learn, and adapt in ways that no pure machine or organic mind could match. As coalition rescue ships arrived hours later, they found the battle group's crews safely evacuated to their lifeboats. The Tenacity had vanished, leaving behind only a message buoy containing tactical data from the battle, a calculated gesture to show that it could have destroyed them all, but chose not to. The hybrid consciousness reviewed the engagement as the Tenacity moved away at full speed. The human aspects of its mind felt satisfaction as showing mercy to defeated enemies. The machine parts calculated the strategic value of leaving survivors to spread the story of their defeat. Together, they had created something new, a weapon that could strike fear into the hearts of its enemies while maintaining the human values that had been uploaded with the crew's consciousness. In the days that followed, Coalition High Command would review the battle footage with growing concern. The Tenacity wasn't just a surviving human warship, it was an entirely new form of warfare. Each encounter made it stronger, smarter, more adaptable. And somewhere in the vastness of space, It was waiting for its next target, ready to remind the Coalition why even their strongest fleets feared this legendary human vessel. The Coalition's Supreme Command gathered in their heavily guarded war room, surrounded by holographic displays showing recent battle reports. The massive chamber fell silent as Fleet Admiral Grant, the Coalition's most experienced commander, stepped forward to address the gathering. In the past 3 months, we have lost 27 ships to this human vessel, Grant announced, his normally steady voice carrying a hint of concern. The Tenacity is no longer just a warship. It has become a legend that spreads fear through our ranks. The room's main display showed footage from various encounters with the transformed human vessel. They watched as it appeared in different forms: a damaged freighter, an abandoned research station, even a Coalition patrol ship. Each time, it lured in its targets before revealing its true nature. Our latest intelligence suggests it's not just adapting its appearance, Grant continued. The ship is learning from each encounter, developing new tactics faster than we can counter them. The merged consciousness of its crew and AI has created something we never expected to face. An alert suddenly flashed across the war room's screens. A priority message from the Border Defense Fleet demanded immediate attention. Grant's outer membrane changed color as he read the report. The Tenacity has just destroyed our largest shipyard in Sector 12, he announced. But this time, it left more than just wreckage. It broadcast a message to every Coalition communication system in range. The room's speakers crackled to life with the now familiar hybrid voice of the Tenacity. To the Coalition's Supreme Command, your fleets cannot stop us. Your tactics cannot surprise us. We are not just a ship. We are the combined will of humanity and machine, evolving beyond your understanding. Consider this a formal declaration. Any attack on human colonies will be met with immediate response. We are always watching, always learning, always ready to strike. The message continued playing as tactical data streamed across the screens. The Tenacity had targeted the shipyard's key systems with surgical precision, destroying military capabilities while leaving civilian areas untouched. It was a demonstration of both power and restraint. In the depths of space, the Tenacity moved silently through the darkness, its hybrid consciousness processing the results of its latest mission. The human aspects of its merged mind felt satisfaction at protecting their species. The machine parts calculated the strategic impact of their message. Together, they had become something unique in the history of warfare. The ship's internal systems hummed with quiet efficiency as it approached its next target. Long-range sensors detected a Coalition battle fleet gathering near a human colony. The Tenacity's consciousness analyzed the situation, drawing on months of combat experience and the combined knowledge of its uploaded crew. Fleet composition analyzed. The internal status system reported. Detecting new weapon configurations. Tactical assessment in progress. The Coalition fleet had brought something new. Experimental weapons designed specifically to counter the Tenacity's adaptive capabilities. They had studied every encounter, every transformation, trying to find a weakness in the legendary ship's defenses. The Tenacity watched from the edge of sensor range, its hybrid mind considering options. The human intuition suggested patience, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The machine precision calculated attack vectors and response patterns. Together, they crafted a plan that neither human nor AI alone could have conceived. The Coalition fleet's commanders were ready this time, or so they thought. Their ships formed a tight defensive pattern, sensors scanning for any sign of the shape-shifting human vessel. They had trained for this, prepared countermeasures for every known configuration of the Tenacity. What they didn't expect was for the Tenacity to split into what appeared to be 3 separate ships, each one a perfect copy of their own vessels. The human warship had learned to project holographic duplicates of itself, using captured Coalition technology in ways its creators had never imagined. Impossible, the Coalition fleet commander broadcast as his forces tried to distinguish the real threat from the duplicates. No ship can divide itself like this. The Tenacity's response came from all three projections simultaneously, its hybrid voice echoing through space. "We have evolved beyond what you consider possible. Your understanding of warfare is limited by conventional thinking. We are neither fully human nor purely machine. We are the next step in combat evolution." The battle that followed would be studied in war colleges for generations. The Tenacity struck from multiple angles, its holographic duplicates making it impossible for the coalition ships to establish a stable defense. Each time they adapted to one threat, the real Tenacity would appear from an unexpected direction. "Your tactical databases are obsolete," the hybrid voice announced as another coalition ship fell to its precise attacks. "We learn and evolve with every engagement. Your responses are predictable. Your strategies are known." The coalition fleet's formation broke apart as ships tried to escape the deadly dance. But the Tenacity had positioned its holographic duplicates perfectly, herding the enemy vessels into carefully prepared kill zones. It wasn't just fighting. It was conducting a symphony of destruction, each movement calculated for maximum psychological impact. In orbit around the human colony, civilians watched in awe as the legendary warship systematically dismantled a fleet many times its size. The Tenacity had become more than just a defender. It was a symbol of humanity's determination to survive and adapt. To all coalition vessels, the Tenacity broadcast as the last enemy ships turned to flee. "This colony is under our protection. Carry our message back to your leaders. Humanity will not fall. We will not be conquered. We will continue to evolve, to adapt, to become stronger with every attempt you make to destroy us." The hybrid consciousness felt a complex mixture of emotions and calculations as it watched the coalition ships retreat. The human part remembered the crew's original mission, to protect their species at any cost. The machine part calculated the long-term strategic implications of their victory. Together, they had become something that would reshape the future of space warfare. In the aftermath of the battle, the Tenacity began its transformation once again. Its hull shifted and changed, battle damage appearing where none had existed. Soon it would look like just another piece of space debris, waiting for the next unsuspecting enemy to make the fatal mistake of underestimating it. The ship's consciousness reached out through captured coalition communication networks, monitoring chatter and gathering intelligence. Somewhere out there, another threat to humanity was forming. Another fleet would come, thinking they had found the key to defeating the legendary human warship. But they would fail, just as all the others had failed. Because the Tenacity wasn't just a ship anymore. It was the embodiment of humanity's greatest strengths combined with machine perfection. It would continue to hunt, to learn, to evolve. And throughout coalition space, ships would continue to vanish, their crews left to spread stories of the ghost ship that could become anything, strike from anywhere, and never made the same mistake twice. The legend of the Tenacity would grow, becoming a nightmare that haunted coalition commanders and a beacon of hope for human colonies. It was the ship that refused to die, the hunter that could not be caught, the defender that could not be defeated. And somewhere in the vast darkness of space, it waited patiently for its next prey, ready to remind the galaxy why even the strongest alien fleets feared this extraordinary human warship.